Ah, Christmas. The most wonderful time of the year, as they say. Time for the age-old traditions to come back during this godforsaken year. Like putting up a tree, getting some gifts for loved ones, and my personal favorite, the annual discussions and think pieces on the most notorious holiday song, Baby It's Cold Outside.
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
It seems weird that a song that seemed so innocent to us when we were kids and didn't know what was good and what was shit, but it seems in recent memory the song that was seen as playful flirting has now become part of the culture war and has only grown bigger post Me Too. But how exactly did this happen? How did one of the most infamous holiday songs get this infamy? Who would think of something like this? And how did the culture understanding shift so negatively towards this song? Well, it's time to find out the only way we know how. A man talking about feminism. I know. No need to thank me, ladies. All I know is that my bravery and ego will be validated by every female viewer knowing that I understand them. So here's something I never knew about this song. It won an Oscar.
What? No way.
Yeah, that's right. The song won an Oscar, meaning a song allegedly about date rape shares the same honor as beloved cinematic achievements like Suicide Squad, Bohemian Rhapsody, Pearl Harbor, and Crash. To understand how this happened, we have to talk about the man who wrote it. Frank Loescher. Frank Loescher is among the most accomplished songwriters of the classic Hollywood era, whose work has helped shape the American songbook. Among them included the World War II classic Praise the Lord and Pass the Ammunition, Heart and Soul for Hoagie Carmichael, aka that one piano song, and his two Tony-winning musicals Guys and Dolls and How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, often incorporating witty lyrics and complex compositions. Not to mention numerous songs for Hollywood movies, such as See What the Boys in the Back Room Will Have from the Western classic Death Street Rides Again, and Jingle Jangle Jingle for the movie Forest Ranger, which was later performed by Kay Kaiser and topped the Billboard charts. How he won an Oscar for Baby is quite interesting, because originally it was never intended for a movie. You see, back in the 40s, many Hollywood celebrities and socialites would often perform songs whenever they attend or host parties. This gave Loescher an idea to write a duet with his then-wife, Lynn Garland. The song is written as a call and response, as, written in the song, the mouse, which is usually the female singer, wants to leave due to the cold weather outside, but the wolf, usually played by the male singer, yes, the wolf is trying to get the mouse. The song is just destined to age horribly. Tells her to just stay and spend the night. The implication is that the woman wants to stay, but suppresses her desires to be with her partner, but decides to say what the hell and stay, because as we all know, it's cold outside. You could freeze to death! The song was written and performed in 1944 as a way to, ironically, let the guests know it's time to leave. I don't get it either. Soon the song became huge amongst the Hollywood socialites. Parties were even made around the two performing the song in mind. A very weird party that you just have to wait for like 3 hours for them to perform a song that you have to get out to. Hollywood's weird, man. But the song won't enter the public lexicon until 1949, when Loescher needed to fit a song into the soundtrack of a musical he was working on for MGM, after one of the songs he wrote, I Like to Get You on a Showboat to China, was rejected by the Hays Code as they felt like the song was inappropriate. File this under Age Like Milk. The song was eventually sold to MGM, a movie that did not sit well with Garland, and she felt like it was the equivalent of catching him in bed with another woman. I should also mention that the duo split up years later. I doubt the song was the main cause, but it certainly didn't help that Frank won a prestigious prize only given to prestigious pictures like Going My Way. Yeah. Y'all remember that? The movie in question is the 1949 musical Neptune's Daughter. Neptune's Daughter is what's called an opera musical, which is basically a musical, but the performances were centered around complex swimming and aquatics performances rather than dancing. Something that was bread and butter to the film star Esther Williams. Originally a trained swimmer, Williams got her start by joining Billy Rose's Aquacade, and later recruited by MGM to perform these opera musicals, where she became one of their top earning stars within her tenure. The The movie also starred Red Skellington, prolific comedian who was big on radio and television during the classic era, who I will always remember as voicing Conan O'Brien in that weird Rudolph New Year's special, and Ricardo Montalban, prolific Mexican actor known for his varying film and television roles in a wide range of genres, who I will always remember as playing Grandpa in the Spy Kids films, as well as having Mel Blanc in a rare on-screen performance.
Well, you go down this road until you come to a... no. You go down this road until you come to a tree, and then you turn to the... No. You go down this road until you come... Gee, I don't think you can get there from here.
Yeah, certain aspects of this movie hasn't aged well. In fact, I'm just gonna say it, the movie isn't very good. It's not the worst thing in the world, the performances are alright, the musical numbers are fun, I guess, and there are some moments here and there.
Means I want to hold you in my arms forever.
And now, please, turn over.
However, for a big spectacle musical of the classic era of Hollywood, it's surprisingly dull. There isn't a whole lot of musical numbers that's about Red Skellington pretending to be Ricardo and getting with Betty Garrett, who plays Esther's in movie sister. Well, Ricardo gets with Esther, so it's like that stock sitcom plot where someone has to pretend to be somebody else and the ruse gets pulled under them. Imagine that for like an hour and a half. I should give it some credit for being shot on Technicolor back when Hollywood started to really take advantage of colored film, but there isn't much eye candy. It just looks kind of flat. Not much dazzle too, not even for the musical numbers. Like, when you compare this to the movies Powell and Pressburger were making, like Black Narcissus and The Red Shoes, which was released earlier, it just does not compare. I guess if this movie did something for me, it's just wish I was watching a Gene Kelly movie. So you're probably wondering how Baby fits into this movie.
You know, on second thought,
Yes?
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
It's performed about halfway through the movie and it has this tropical instrumentation to it than like the lounge crooner shit it usually has. And it works fine, I guess. Except they're singing about how it's cold outside when they're filming in a tropical location! Okay, sure! The song itself plays out like it was intended, more cutesy flirting like Lozier intended, until, looks like Red is getting the old sexual harassment tango. Ha ha! Yeah, I found that this flip of having a woman singing the man's part or two men singing it to be a very common as a cheap gag. The movie was nominated and eventually won its sole Oscar for Best Original Song, a movie that was viewed as controversial since it was written and performed before the movie was made. However, according to the Academy's rules at the time, they felt like it was valid since it had been performed and recorded professionally, meaning that since no other recordings of the song was released beforehand, it counted. But regardless, Neptune's Daughter cemented the song's placement within the public consciousness, as numerous recordings were done during 1949, and years since it became a classic, with numerous recordings and renditions of the song being performed by numerous artists. And despite the song not being specifically written for Christmas, it became synonymous for the holiday season due to the frequent mentioning of winter themes, like cold weather and sitting by a fireplace. Okay, yeah, sure. Yet in recent years, the song has been met with controversy amongst feminists as being problematic and promoting date rape. Well, it isn't clear when the controversy first began. In fact, when the song was gaining ground in 1949, NBC banned it as they felt like the song was too racy, before quickly putting it back on rotation. One of the earliest pieces about Baby in the digital age that I could find was a 2004 article by the National Post, which has since been deleted, but the writers admitted that it was meant to be a tongue-in-cheek joke about the dated nature of the song. For more serious academia, 2 articles came in 2006. Both of these are actually serious and written by feminists, were published by the now defunct Persephone magazine. One has an op-ed talking about the surprise of finding out what the song is actually saying post-millennium. The other has an article countering the op-ed and giving a historical context on when the song was made. But for a more mainstream source, NPR published an article in December of 2009, which alluded to the collective consciousness of the song being rather creepy. And since then, it continued to grow and grow until it got to the point where radio stations began to ban the song from being played, only to be overturned in certain cases. Cowards. Last year, John Legend released a reworking of the song for a more modern audience. Here is my reaction to it.
It's not good.
But is it really a huge misunderstanding by the politically correct? Well, kind of. Like, don't think of that as a defense of the song or me trying to change everyone's minds. But I think there is a lot of context that does tend to get lost within the conversation, specifically when it was written. Back in the 40s, despite the war changing a lot of how many Americans lived their lives, there were still restrictions for the American women. Namely, it wasn't socially acceptable to be at home with another man who wasn't their husband. Ho! The scandal! And what would they be doing? Premarital sex? The horror! So this is basically what the perspective of the song is about. A woman wanting to spend time with her partner, but knowing about the gossip and rumors that would entail, she has to keep with the idea that abstinence works, while the man is still pushing her to stay and have some fun, like, you know, snuggling, or smooching, or murdering her husband in an insurance scam, or playing Yahtzee. I don't fucking know what they do in the 40s. So when she says, I ought to say no, it isn't, get away from me, you creep, but more of avoiding a bunch of Karens judging her. But what about the line about something being in her drink here? Well, it's actually a common line used by women in the 40s whenever they were going to do something devious. Devious for 40s standards. As that would mean that her drink was spiked with alcohol and not, you know. So in a way, the song is progressive for the times, and it does say, hey, women can have sex too, and there isn't anything wrong with that. Well, okay, progressive isn't really the right word, but at the very least, it isn't exactly the sexist song a lot of people are saying it is, at least initially. Keep in mind that it was written as a cute duet between Lozier and Garland, so at the very least, the assumed context is that the two people singing are a couple, and they are just teasing each other, which, honestly, now that I think about it, is just a really obnoxious way of showing public affection. Oh, baby, I can't stay, I gotta go home. But baby, it's cold outside, you don't want to leave my arms now. Oh, you're right. Gag me. Of course, like most things, the times do change, and our understandings of boundaries have changed greatly. There's this gross amount of Italian from the dude that does sound like that even if she wants to be with him, that doesn't automatically mean she was ready to have sex with him. And even if that was socially acceptable behavior back then, given the change of sexual politics in America and, well, the world, after the sexual revolution, third wave feminism, the Anita Hill trial, Lorena Bobbitt, and probably more feminist topics I'm not covering because I don't freaking know. And it basically became a byproduct of a bygone time. So to answer the age-old question, should Baby It's Cold Outside be banned? And the answer is, who cares? Like, real talk. Did anyone ever really like this song? I mean, like, it's catchy and has a nice beat, but it's ain't no Santa Claus is coming to town, or Frosty the Snowman, or Sleigh Bells. It doesn't bop. It doesn't work as a Christmas carol, and you can't sing along to it without somebody else helping out.
Say what's in this drink?
See? Will Ferrell knows this. That's why he's joining her. Plus, if this controversy surrounding the song didn't exist, people would be just like, oh great, this song again, because it would be played by the 5,000th time they've listened to it on the damn radio. No one actually gave a shit about the song until people realized it aged pretty badly. And yeah, I'm mad about people banning it, because there are other examples of Christmas songs that deserve it. I'm not talking about fucking Wonderful Christmas Time. No. Can you look me in the eyes and tell me that the goddamn Band-Aid song should be played anymore? You know, the 80s song where a bunch of rich celebrities shame the listener for living in privilege while African children are dying in poverty because that's what people in Africa do, despite them not doing diddly dick about it. Guys, let's not pull out our wallets and actually give our money away. Let's just record this shitty Christmas song that sounds like ass and force people to buy it because it's the noble thing to do. Trust me, it's flawless. Yeah, let's have Christmas being associated with snow, pine trees, and Bono singing sarcastically at you about how great it is that an African child is dead, but not you. And need I remind you about the cancer that is Christmas shoes? Oh god, I totally forgot what Christmas shoes was about when I wrote that line. Oh jeez. So don't fucking be that fucking person that wants to look past other egregious holiday songs, because I sure as hell don't want a song about shaming listeners well after the fact and cancer bait be clogging up the radio stations in between goddamn Mariah Carey. So in conclusion, this video was a mistake. I don't even know what I was doing. Why did I think of this? I don't even know. I don't even know.